what's up, you guys? B Randon here. So today we're gonna make a crawdad trap, and what we're gonna use today is we got some of this stuff. I just had this stuff laying around the house. You can use anything kind of like this. What makes this really easy is these little waste baskets. And these come from, my dad picked these up at the 99-cent store. I used to see them at the Dollar Tree all the time. But yeah, the trap's pretty much made. Like, you've got this piece, you've got this piece. All you have to do is put a cone here and a cone here pointing inward and connect the two halves, and you've got a crawdad trap. So that's what we're going to do today. Today I'm going to use these things, some of this stuff, some zip ties. I'm going to use a couple of these. I'll show you what these are for, and you can use anything. Like, there's many things you can use other than the supplies I'm using here today. I'm going to use a pair of needle nose pliers. It'll work better with some like wire clippers or something, but that's what I got. And you're going to want a couple of like hair ties, or I don't know if I would trust just regular rubber bands, but something like that. You can use little bits of wire, or like I said, there's many things you can use to make this, but this is what we got today. This is what we're going to do. Alright, so the first thing we need to do is we need to take the bottom out of this, open up the bottom. I'm going to use my pliers. Like I said, if you had some wire cutters or something, snip, 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 you just open up a hole. But these are pretty flimsy baskets, so I can just take my wire, or my needle nose here, and I'm just going to rip a hole in the bottom of it. Alright, so we got the bottom opened up there. Get the bottom opened up there, nice little hole in the bottom. We'll do that to the other side, and that part will be done. Alright, so we got the two outside halves of our traps. We got our little bottoms opened up. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to use this stuff. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to use this stuff, and we're going to make a little cone, and you just want to make sure your cone fits in the hole that you made. So I think that piece, actually, I don't think I'm going to have to make that a different size, so that should work good. And you just kind of roll this stuff into a cone. And all the materials I'm using right now, they're pretty flimsy. Like those waste baskets, they're pretty flimsy. They'll get bent if you toss them around or anything like that. But you know, they're dollar store, 99-cent store baskets. What do you expect? And this stuff, I got this stuff here at a hardware store at some point. I'm not sure exactly what it is. I actually bought it another time when I made a crawdad trap. So, and I've just kind of had it's been sitting in storage for a while, and I brought it out for this. And this opening here, you want to make sure this opening here is big enough for whatever size thing you want to get into your trap. So if you want to get bigger crawdads in there, you want to make sure the hole is big enough. But you also want to, you know, the bigger it is, the more are going to escape too. Alright, so I think I got this cone about the size that I want it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this zip tie and I'm going to kind of weave it through here. There's definitely an easier way to do it, but I mean, I got zip ties sitting right here, and I got nothing better to do. So yeah, you're just going to weave it through all the little holes just to fasten it together. Alright, so I'm done with that, and it looks something like that. Got a big funky kind of stitch thing with the zip tie, but hold your little cone together and it should work out okay. And we'll see. Let's see, it's a little small for the hole, but I think we'll be able to make that work out. I think it will work out pretty good. So then we're going to attach this to the basket here, and that's going to be one side of your trap. I think you can see how it's going to work out there. Alright, so we got this half of the trap done. We got our little funnel here. We got 3 zip ties holding it on there. And we got a pretty decent little fit in there. To be honest with you, I'm a little worried about the way this zip tie is sticking up here, if it's going to hinder the entrance, but we'll find out. So yeah, we got one half done. We're going to do that to the second half. And we'll be pretty much done with the trap. Alright, so there we have our 2 halves of our trap there. So the next step is to decide where you want the bottom to be and, you know, how you want them to fit together. I think I want them to fit together pretty much like that, and I want the bottom to be right there at the bottom. So we're going to go ahead and attach that, and the way I'm going to do that is with zip ties, of course. And what we're going to do is we're going to line up 3 zip ties on there. And we're just going to attach it to the other one. Clip these off. Alright, what those 3 zip ties there are going to do is they're going to make a little hinge for us, so we can just open up our traps like that. Alright, the next thing we want to do is where our hair ties come in. We're going to take our hair ties, I'm just going to loop them through the little circles there, and the little mesh there. Loop that through, do one of those guys, and that's where these weights here are going to come in. And like I said, you can use anything. You can use like a little key ring or just something to keep it from going back up into that. So I'm going to take the weight, shove that through the eye of that weight right there. Loop it around there. And loop it around there again. And we're just going to put it like that. Now we're going to go across from there on the other side. We're going to do it again. This is just going to help keep our, trap from opening up. And actually, this is, it's pretty lightweight material. These sinkers will actually help keep it down there some too, so it doesn't end up bobbing around or something with the float, And I got the idea for this trap from a guy I went camping with one time, and I had my Crawdad traps out with me, and he looked at them and he said, "Oh, that looks like those little waste baskets you see." And then after he said that, every time I saw these little waste baskets, all I could think of was, look, it's a Crawdad trap. So I decided to go ahead and try making one out of them. Alright, and then you're gonna just use a rope that's thin enough to get through there, or you can open that up too. You're going to put a rope through the top, and there you have it. There's your fairly easy to make from some cheap materials, and we'll see how it works out. I made one of these yesterday, and we used it today, and we caught a few. We did a daytime soak, so we'll see what we can get with these. The other one's sitting out in the lake right now, and hopefully we'll catch something. But yeah, there it is. little DIY Dollar Tree wastebasket crawdad trap. Not too bad. Thanks for checking it out, you guys. We'll show you what we caught. Cool. Alright, you guys. So here we are on the lake. We got our homemade trap here. Got a couple rocks in there to help weigh it down, and we got a squawfish in there for bait. And we got the trap we made the other day. It's out there attached to that bottle. We're gonna go see how we did with last night's soak. We had that soaking last night all night, so let's see if we did pretty good or not. This isn't really the best area on this lake to get crawdads, but there's a lot of them in here, so we got a few yesterday during the daytime, so that was neat. Nothing crazy, but it's usually get a lot more at night. And I was hoping to get out here a little earlier, but I have trouble waking up, so we'll kick out here and we'll see what we got. And so here we are at the float. Trap's on the end of this rope. See if we got anything last night. Fingers crossed, you guys. I think the trap works, you guys. What would you say? I think there's a bunch of good-sized crawdads in there, if you ask me. I think it works better than I thought it was gonna work. So yeah, get out there and make yourself a crawdad trap from some supplies from the Dollar Tree. Look at that big dog, you guys.